Most animals that have lived on Earth disappeared without leaving us anything to find. Their bodies were eaten, scattered, crushed, or broken down until there was nothing left. No skeleton, no footprint, no proof that they were even here. The animals inside this room are the exceptions. This is the Morian Hall of Paleontology at the Houston Museum of Natural Science. Walking through it feels less like visiting one moment in the past and more like moving through several different versions of Earth. There were oceans filled with armored animals before anything with a backbone had walked on land. There were reptiles large enough to change the shape of an ecosystem. These were mammals that lived in a world recovering from the loss of the dinosaurs. Every animal in this hall belonged to a world that eventually changed around it. Some adapted, some moved, some gave rise to new forms of life. Others reached a point where their body's behavior and luck were no longer enough. Project Wild Origins began with a question about what is still alive that the world has stopped paying attention to. But before we can understand what it takes to keep an animal alive, we should probably understand how animals disappear.
Dinosaurs that have the heavy plates on its back are like the most interesting ones because they use that to protect themselves against predators like this. I think that is so cool. Like a triceratops.
Fossils are a small and biased sample of the animals that once lived. Most bodies never fossilize. They are eaten, decomposed, scattered, or destroyed before sediment can actually bury them. Animals with bones, teeth, shells, and other hard parts have a much better chance of entering the fossil record than soft-bodied animals. This means a museum hall is not a complete record of prehistoric life. It's just a record of the animals that lived in the right place, died under the right conditions, were buried before they even disappeared, survived millions of years of pressure and erosion, and were eventually found by someone who recognized what they were.
And then snails, oh my gosh. I feel like there was an opportunity to keep snails like this. I would keep a bunch of them in my tank for sure. And then there's like creatures like big turtles. And then some of the animals that's still alive today. Example, another turtle.
Even then, paleontologists are rarely handed a complete animal. They may find a tooth, a section of jaw, a few vertebrae, or a set of footprints. They compare these remains with other fossils and with living animals to understand how the animal moved, what it ate, and where it fits in the history of life. So think about Mr. Mittens, your cat. Think about that. Think about his remains. No, I'm just kidding.
I just love how they create a shell like that. Like, how is that even possible? So, yeah, just amazing how creatures can just create a shell like that, and that's like their essential home in their body. This guy looks like a piranha. So, yeah, I would say it's like a prehistoric piranha, to be honest with you.
The skeleton by itself tells us about one body. The surrounding evidence tells us about its world. Over the last 500 million years, life has passed through 5 major mass extinctions. The largest known event happened around 252 million years ago, at the end of the Permian period. Scientists estimate that roughly 95% of species may have disappeared.
So this little guy looks like a dog, to be honest with you. That's crazy. I think this one was, let's see, a dawn horse. I said a dog, I'm way off. So that one's a dawn horse. Let's see, so the biggest saber-toothed cat. It's like, I would just imagine, like, what if there were saber-toothed cats that live today, right? Instead of just the tigers and lions that you see. Imagine that. Imagine how many people would die from that. A bit morbid, but I mean, it's truth, right? But it would change the ecosystem because tigers and lions, they have their specific areas that they're in nowadays where they've migrated over time to. But imagine if saber-tooth were still alive to this day.
The extinction most people know happened 66 million years ago at the end of the Cretaceous period. Think Jurassic Park. Okay. It's one of my favorite movies. I had to throw that in there. Okay. An asteroid roughly 10 kilometers wide struck near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact threw dust and debris into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and disrupting photosynthesis and collapsed food webs. At least this is speculation. Non-avian dinosaurs disappeared, but dinosaurs did not vanish completely. Birds are living dinosaurs, right? Their survival is one reason pigeons and hawks, hummingbirds, shoebill storks, and chickens exist today.
What's crazy is that most of these animals look like they're from today, right? But there's something about them that's like slightly off and deformed a little bit. It was like their original form, essentially.
After the end of the Cretaceous, I can't even say that word, the Cretaceous extinction is one example. Mammals already existed alongside dinosaurs for more than 100 million years. They just did not suddenly appear after the asteroid. The speculated asteroid. The disappearance of large non-avian dinosaurs gave surviving mammal groups room to diversify into larger bodies and new ways of living. The Green River fossils in this museum preserve a later chapter from around 50 million years ago. At that time, warm lakes covered parts of what are now Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. The region supported fish, crocodilians, turtles, birds, insects, potatoes, greens, hams, potatoes, plants, and early mammals. I'll get back to what we're talking about.
I love the Megalodon. I'm glad that it's not here today because it's massive, but just imagine the sheer size of seeing a shark that big. We already love seeing the great white shark, but imagine seeing a Megalodon the size of that. So yeah, one of the biggest sharks in my book that are the king is the Megalodon. I think it's just so amazing, like the size of its jaw. Like that's crazy. Back in its prime, it was eating elephants and taking names. That's crazy.
Fine sediment settled on the lake bottoms, and low oxygen conditions sometimes slowed decomposition. That is why some Green River fossils preserve complete bodies, small details that normally disappear. These fossils are not older than the dinosaurs. They are younger. They come from a world recovering and changing millions of years after the non-avian dinosaurs were gone.
What you doing with the videos?
That distinction matters because the museum is not showing one lost world, it's showing many worlds. Each section of the hall belongs to a different climate, continent, food, web, and a set of animals. The skeletons can also make extinction feel finished. It is easy to look at them and believe disappearance belongs to deep time, right? But extinction is a process. Not only an ancient event, it begins when a population loses habitat, food, and breeding space, genetic diversity, or the ability to recover from repeated pressure. The final animal is only the last visible moment of a much longer decline. Pretty cool stuff.
Just got stopped by security, but they were actually asking me questions about what the channel was about, so that was pretty cool. You never know those type of chances you get, because people are curious about what you're doing. But this one is the woolly mammoth. They were massive beasts. Then you got the chinless saber-toothed cat. Now these chinless saber-toothed cats were very tall. Actually, the other one is a giant short-faced bear, and then the other one's a saber-toothed cat, so they were going head to head. Probably duking it out over some beer or something like that, but man, they are massive.
You're gonna keep seeing me, I'm just in this area.
Imagine a giant sloth walking around this big. That's crazy. And then these guys are still alive today, but this is a giant armadillo. This is part of the camel family. Interesting. So here comes the funny part where you got like the Homo sapiens, like the old people, the people from way back in the day.
Around you. Right.
Wow. Just love coral, like the size of the coral that just grows and like the texture and what it looks like. I think that's so amazing.
Oh yeah, one of these on Florida beaches too. It's called. I've never seen this though. It's really pretty. Number one. Oh, something blue. Oh. You know, look at somebody's washed up on the shore from that. It's on the Florida.
I think what amazes me is like the color on these things. And then the shape and the texture. Like there's a lot of these that I've never seen before. How does that even grow like that, right? That is amazing, like a nautilus shell and the texture, man. It's like I can see, I can get the size of my hand with this. I don't know if you can see that. This, I'd imagine years, hundreds of thousands of millions of years ago, the size of these shells were vastly bigger.
Project Wild Origins is built around paying attention before an animal becomes a display, a label, or story told in past tense. The point is not to treat every species as a symbol. The point is to notice that each animal is living inside a specific world, and that survival depends on whether the world remains viewable, livable. A fossil haul like this shows us what loss looks like after enough time has passed for the living animal to become evidence. The animals outside this museum have not reached that point. Their stories are being written throughout the habitat, climate, migration, breeding, and the decisions people make around them. Sort of like orchestrating the entire events of things that's happened. The fossil record cannot tell us everything that lived. It can tell us that no ecosystem lasts forever. That strength does not guarantee survival, and that recovery creates a different world rather than restoring the old one. Every animal in this room survived long enough to leave evidence. The question now is what we do for the animals that are still alive. Okay, so walked out of the museum, it looks like it started pouring outside. Honestly, I think it's because of the tropical storm that's coming in through Florida and it's hitting us. And so we're getting the weather warnings on the weather app and everything. So that's why it looks all murky out today. Ugh. Good thing is, I actually like it when it looks like this. I actually enjoyed it. My love is the rainforest, and one day I'm gonna do a video in the rainforest, but today we're gonna start in Houston.